Sheriff Jeff Knight.
Good evening. I'd like to share with you an award that our office is part of. Our office is part of the Central Wisconsin Drug Task Force, and that's made up of sheriff's departments and police departments through Central Wisconsin. This year at the Narcotics Officers Association, our task force was recognized as the Outstanding Drug Unit of the Year. So I just wanted to share this with you. Unfortunately, this particular class had to go back to Marshfield because this is theirs, but just to let you folks know that our group was recognized for their work and the things we do for Sheriff County. So this is yours too. So
Good job. Thank you. Good job. All right, next we have David Winkle.
Good evening. My name is Dave Winkle. Ordinance 581 is on the agenda for tonight for fine folks to vote on. I think most of you know what it is, but I just wanted to speak briefly about it. 20 years ago, I bought Camp Hiawatha on Crusoe Lake when it came up for sale and developed it into 100 by 400 foot lots. And I, at that point, came in front of this body. I don't know how many were on the board back then, but and I told you I was just trying to sell lots so I could get money back and cut the rest. And that's what I did. I own 6 lots on Crusoe Lake. And then last fall, the old Bitter property, which is the rest of the south shore of the lake adjacent to my property, came on the market for sale. Someone else bought it, some developers from Oshkosh, and after about 6 months I bought it from them. And my plan is the same thing, is I have to sell some property to get my money back, but then I'm keeping the rest of it. And it's 110 acres, I'm keeping about half, and I'm making 12 lots, and you have in front of you a rezoning from ag to residential, which is how the rest of the lake is zoned and the surrounding lakes. And the lots are 100 minimum up to 135, and then the depth is about 1,200 feet to go all the way from the lake past and going to the south. And restrictions on the southern half on building so that it stays as natural as possible. And again, I'm going to sell lots so I get my money back and then I stop. I live out there. I want to keep it as low density as possible. I don't even want to create any more lots for the lake, but the option that was on the table is they can put 26 lake lots and about 40 off-lake lots. And I didn't want to see that, and so I think my development is very low impact and about the minimum that can be placed on that property. So that's what I wanted to say, just in case some of you on the plan commission members got to hear the spiel and came out and looked at it and had a better understanding. I didn't know what the rest of you did. But that's really what my proposal, my development is. And it's really just a second phase of what I did 19, 20 years ago when I did Crusoe Lake Acres. It's adjoining that property, same restrictions, but even bigger lots this time around. Thank you.
Okay. You didn't sign up.
Turn
yet.
the mic. Oh, I told him.
Sorry, you can't talk.
He said turn this on. Yes, please. I just wanted to remind you that we're going to have a strategic planning session on September 23rd. That will be down in the demo room from 9 to noon, and I hope that you can join us. This is the last of the very first segment of strategic planning. We were going to have 3 sessions to kind of do more of an overview, and then we will really get into the process, so I hope you can join us. Another thing I wanted to announce is that probably in the 1990s, Waushara County joined the Wisconsin County Mutual for liability coverage. And probably the last 7 or 8 years, they've given scholarships to family members of employees or employees of county members that are under the mutual. And Waushara County, we were pretty active about promoting that. One year, they give 5 scholarships. They're $2,000 each. One year, we had actually 3 people from Waushara County win the 5 out of the 5. Well, this year we did have a student. He actually works for the Parks Department in the summertime, but he is the son of Kathy Vandy Castle that works for our Highway Department. So his name is Anthony, and so he was one of the winners. So I thought that was really great. Thank you. You want to back off of that?
If I may, I would like to address Jeff's award. I think you all know how important that drug task force is. And, you know, it's a continual fight. There's no, oh, we're done, and, you know, and Dennis and Everett and Deb and I and Ruth and Mel for a day, we're down at Wisconsin Counties Association. And, boy, the fight is on, and it's a never-ending fight. And I know a lot of the departments in Waushara County, our departments are working very hard, and thank you, I appreciate it. And I didn't even have to go down there and talk. I can talk wherever I want to. Okay. Yeah, right. Okay, we need an approval of the agenda.
Madam Chair, I would move to approve the agenda as presented.
Motion by Weddy,
I'll second that.
second by Bernadette. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Now we need an approval of the minutes of the August 19th, 2014 monthly meeting. And that was in your packet. Motion by Everett to approve. Second by Russ. Are there any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, we have no old business, so we're going to move on to new business. And the first presentation is the Level 3 designation certificate, I'll get this right in a minute, for the Health Department.
Thank you. My name is Chris Collada. I am the Northeast Region Director I work for the Department of Health Services in Green Bay. I'm in the Division of Public Health. So the Northeast Region, it is a 17-county area. There's 19 health departments and 3 tribes. What did we do? It's in state statute that every 5 years we must go out and do a 140 review of all our health departments in Wisconsin. And what it is, it's a compliance check. And there's 3 levels of health department. So level 1, all health departments have to go through this review. It's a basic level, that's the starting point. Then there's level 2 and level 3. And Waushara County is a level 3. It doesn't mean it's the best. It means you offer more programs than what other health departments do, which is commendable. So what is the review? Patty and her staff added a lot of information into SharePoint, and we've really picked up the review process. All the materials are sent to the state reviewers ahead of time, so then we can come in with specific questions or discussion. And it's not a gotcha, it's more of a how can they improve, what are things that we can learn also. And it's basically for level 3, a 3-hour on-site review, which we conducted in July. And tonight I just want to commend Patty Wolfile for her leadership. It's one of those things in the Northeast region, we've had about half turnover of health officers, so that you have an experienced health officer is commendable and something you should appreciate. The other thing, I also want to recognize the staff. There's a number of great programs that the health department provides to the citizens of Waushara County. But the other thing that I have to notice is Dennis and Everett in the back is the support of the Board of Health. And I see the Board of Health, they attended the on-site meeting, but we see them at there's the Waldab, Wisconsin area local health department and board meetings. Dennis comes, Everett comes, so it's fantastic to see the long-term support of the Board of Health. And finally, I also want to thank the county board for your support of your health department. And with that, I have a certificate of designation. I don't know if Patty and Dennis, if it's appropriate for you as the Board of Health Chair to come up. I just want to read this. It says, Waushara County is a local health department in good standing with the statute set forth by the Wisconsin legislature and relevant administrative rules of the department. And this local health department was formally reviewed by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services, Division of Public Health. This was signed August 8th, 2014, and you will remain a level 3 for another 5 years. So I'll congratulations, Dennis. Congratulations, Patty.
Yep, if you bear with us for just a second.
job, Terry.
Yep. Thanks. And I just want to thank and recognize the board members that are part of my Board of Health, and that is Dennis Weddy is the chair, Everett is the vice chair, and Pat King is on the board. So thank you. And it is true that they are very much involved. They go nationally, even. They've been on national committees, state committees, and come to the local. We have a very involved board, and Dennis has repeatedly been asked to be on committees and things because there are very few board members in a lot of other counties that are as involved as he is. So thank you. We have a very good board.
Very good. Congratulations. All right, next, Bill Wheeler is going to give us a report on the Tri-County Regional Economic Development Corporation update.
Good evening. Thank you for the invite, and thank you for your continued support. I know there's a few new faces in the crowd, so I thought I'd start with a quick little recap of what TREDSI's all about in a brief history. It was formed a little over 9 years ago, so we're getting ready to get into our 10th year, which is quite an accomplishment on its own, when all three counties, Marquette, Waushara, and Green Lake, began talking with each other, thinking that they were losing out on some opportunities because they didn't have a point person or organization to go to for economic development. So they met off and on for probably, I don't know, year and a half, somewhere in there. Finally got some state funding and some commitment from the three counties to get rolling with the corporation and to hire me, since I've been there since the beginning. What's good about it, I mean, we're the only three-county regional economic development corporation in the state. And, you know, our budget is probably well less than half than a lot of counties. So just letting you know that you also get a bargain. Our board is made up of 12 members. Our current chair, I'll just give you a rundown of the Waushara people on it. Our current chair is Arden Bant of Coloma, who is joined by Larry Tim, sitting right there front row. Joe Fargo of Plainfield, Evan Wentland of Berlin, Deb Berenger is an ex officio board member, and Patrick Nearing is an advisor along with their cohorts in other counties. We have, Waushara County has 2 members on a revolving loan fund committee. They currently are John Prindle, the executive director of cooperative care here in Wautoma, and Fred Erickson of Erickson Real Estate over in Coloma. I mean, our primary focus has always been trying to provide business development services. It could be in the form of financing, referrals to other resources, help with startups and business plans, site selection, whatever the case might be. On an average year, we normally work with somewhere between 60 or 70 different projects. And every year I kind of track these, and these are actual projects, not just a phone call. I'm meeting with them, we're working on something concrete. But we track them every year, and surprisingly enough, because I was afraid after the first couple of years, they pretty much even out between the 3 counties. So, you know, everyone is, you know, pretty much on an even keel there. Back in 2008, we consolidated various revolving loan funds. We currently have about $1.7 million in change under management, of which there are 35 businesses currently with loans that we have. 13 of them are from Waushara County, so if you do the math, it's pretty much an even split there as well. Our average loans are usually around $50,000. We're never the 100% financer of any project. We come in to try to make a difference, make it easier for a bank to do the lending. Our maximum is $150,000. There's also an existing $1.5 million forgivable loan to Mayville Engineering here in Wautoma, which was recently amended to allow them to get a little more time under their belt to get to some of their job creation numbers that they wanted. From what I've been told, 2015 should be a banner year for them as they continue to move more business here to Wautoma, and hopefully will climb up to that 200-plus job threshold that they'd asked for. We recently did something new in which we had a little money put aside, not much, but we made a $25,000 equity investment in a high-tech audio startup company in Princeton. It was something that, quite honestly, we don't see this type of business come into our area all that often. And these were some people with a proven track record. who kind of fell on some hard times, not because of anything they did, just someone else pulling the plug. But they've come up with a new product. Our executive board believed in them, and we made a $25,000 equity investment, which basically means we're partial owners. When all is said and done, we'll own about 3% of the company. But initially, these are dollars that will help them apply for their patents, get some more prototypes done, and we'll see what happens. It's risk capital. Either we lose the $25,000, or in 3 years it turns into just under $500,000. So we're kind of keeping our fingers crossed for the latter there. One of the highlights of our year is every year we host an economic development tri-county summit. Usually has a different theme. Last year we did it at Oakwood over in Wild Rose. We switch counties each year. And the subject was the power of tourism. It was something new for us. And it really came about because there were some rumblings from some county board members from a different county, you can take your choice of the other two, that we just weren't getting any money back from tourism. So we wanted to bring in some officials and put some stats and statistics together and bring some of our tourism entities together to look at some programs out there, some resources, and how they could start working together. And what's always nice after these are over is to see things happening as a result of it. And we've seen that. This year, we're looking at our annual summit will be October 30th. We normally get 50, 60 people. Last year at the tourism conference, we had about 65. It actually was one of our largest attended. But we're looking at October 30th this year. The subject's going to be sustainability, the development of regional and local food systems. In the past, we've dealt with a lot of businesses and manufacturers, but we have a lot of food producers, processors, them putting it on the table in the area. And the same thing we found with our manufacturers, they don't connect a whole lot. And they're not unaware of some of the resources out there. So we thought we'd put a program together that would be beneficial to them. It's going to be in Green Lake at the town square. Hopefully you all get a notice. You're more than welcome to come. Town square is our former courthouse building, which also has a commercial kitchen in it, which we hope to work into the program as well. Well, there's what I just said. Manufacturers continue to be our major focus. One interesting thing that we found several years ago when we surveyed them was that various CEOs, general managers, and owners, just because of our basic demographics, had no idea what Joe Blow made or did 10 miles down the road. So we began a series of meetings to try to get them together, to get them to know each other. And this all culminated in a meeting a year ago, last April, that we had at Breakbush Brothers over in Westfield. And after the general program and seeing Breakbush and talking about resources available, we had quite a nice networking time during the lunch hour, which of course we ate chicken. But there was a lot of horse trading going on. One company was talking to another one that had a number of trucks, and there might have been a surplus for them to get in there. Another one had a byproduct that he thought he could use in his product. A couple others were talking about getting together and doing some government contracting. So we're carrying this one step further and putting together a manufacturers working group to work primarily to begin with on government contracts. We received a grant from the USDA Rural Development for $19,000 and change to try to help put this thing together. If our companies work together and are able to increase, their market share and their sales, it's really only kind of a win-win for our area. And it's something that's taken years to kind of put together. It's kind of morphed as it goes along, but we hope that this working group can start on government contracting, have some successes, then begin to look at other things like exporting and such. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell for all of you tonight. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Bill, maybe you could comment on the small community forum that...
Sure. That was over in Coloma. Yeah, the Wisconsin Downtown Action Council hosts these small town forums in I think about 3 cities each year. And one of the sponsors is UW Extension. I'm pointing to you, Patrick. Smile. And it was 3 weeks ago, somewhere in there. Very well attended. I think there's an awful lot of discussion. It's the same thing in every small town. Everybody's coming in there looking for the quick fix or the miracle cure, and it's just not there. It's something you have to work toward and plan for. But I think there's going to be a number of things that come as a result of that too. And it was nice to have it in one of our 3 counties. Want to put me on the spot with anything else, Deb? Or Ruth? Be quiet.
Your
Okay.
audit, you had your audit, and that all came back.
That all came fine and dandy. I gave some copies to Melanie up there. In fact, one of the Tredsy itself, because they contract with me to provide the services, cuts 4 or 5 checks a year. So there's not a whole lot to do with the audit, but they also look at our revolving loan fund and pretty much made the statement that in comparison to other cities and counties that they see that have revolving loan funds, ours is probably right up there close to the top. Our loan loss ratio is very low, which means we make some pretty good loans. Sometimes they go bad, but we don't have that many of them. But that's nice to hear. And we don't sit on any money. We're normally doing 4 to 6 to 7 loans a year. As the money gets paid in, the loans go out. As I said, we have a balance or managed assets of about $1.7 million, and $1.6 million is loaned out currently. And hopefully with another $30,000 going to Wautoma business next week. So we shall see.
Did you have any comments about the state WEDC, about that, how that's working?
Any what?
Back with that group?
Oh.
The state,
Well, I mean, and WDC is Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation, which is what has come about with Governor Walker and him getting away from the Department of Commerce and creating a quasi-governmental agency. I mean, we continue to work with them hand in hand, and we need WDC. They've had some bad press over the first couple of years, and some of it continues. But, they're out there we need someone, as a cheerleader for the state. And they have more money than Commerce used to have. One thing Wisconsin never did particularly well was market itself outside the state. And, that's what we need to see happen, because we don't have the marketing dollars. So we rely on them on the state level or New North on a regional level to try to get our name out there and let it be known.
So if any of you get approached by businesses or people that are interested in starting a business, this is
Send them
where
this
I
way?
always send them. So, yes. If you need his contact information, let me know.
Okay. Thank you much.
Next, Ruth is going to give us an EMS update.
So probably for the last year, maybe a little bit more than a year, there have been various times that there have been different rumors floating around the community about what's going on with EMS and what the committee has been doing, what the department has been doing, and kind of where the county board is at with EMS. And so the Public Safety Committee asked that, because these rumors started to flare up again in the last couple of weeks about the committee looking at selling the department, looking at contracting it out with a private entity. And so they asked me to come and kind of give you an update on exactly what it has been going on. There's been several meetings over the last year. Many of them have had parts of the meetings in closed session for various reasons, and the committee decided that maybe it was a good time now, with the rumors resurfacing, to come and give you guys an update about what was going on and exactly what the committee has been doing over the last year regarding EMS. So that's what we're here to do tonight. So the first rumor is that county administration, meaning Deb and myself and some other people, and or the county board, specifically the Public Safety Committee, wants to sell EMS. This is fiction. Throughout negotiations, as you know, we just recently ratified a contract in August with the union for the EMS. Negotiations started in 2012 with the Personnel Committee, and the Personnel Committee at that time advised union representation that they were interested in reaching an agreement that would ensure the sustainability of the EMS service. And so part of what the Personnel Committee was attempting to do throughout the negotiations was to look at the efficiency of the operations, the cost of the operations, and really work to make sure that we are able to sustain a county-wide service. On February 19th, go ahead, Deb, of 2013, the board decided to hire Fitch & Associates to evaluate the EMS service, in part to assist with ensuring financial sustainability of the operation. Fitch & Associates is the premier consultant in the area in order that does evaluate all different types of EMS services from private to governmental entities, and so the board brought them in to look at our service and see what was going right and what was going wrong. Brian Pothier had been our EMS director, and he resigned in December of 2013, and so at that time the Public Safety Committee wanted different options on how you could operate the EMS service that would not impact the quality of care. A lot of the stuff that you're going to see in a little bit about what came out of the Fitch study and some of the other things that the board was aware of indicated that our focus really needed to be on making sure that we were not just providing a countywide service, but that we were providing a countywide service that actually provided good care to all of the residents. And so we were looking at options for operations that did not impact quality of care at that time. On March 6th, the Public Safety Committee decided to keep EMS in-house, restructure the medical director with the assistance of a consultant, make operational changes based on the state and Fitch reports to focus on quality of care, putting all other major decisions on hold, such as the building project. Basically, the state had come in and looked at our operation. We had an internal investigation with a couple of calls that did not go the way that they should have gone. And the state had gotten contacted by the union, who wanted the state to come in and look at our operations to make sure that what we were seeing in our internal investigation was accurate and that it wasn't part of a headhunting mission that, you know, some of the people in the union thought it was. And then also the Fitch report, which we'll talk about, did indicate that we needed to look at some of our care issues. So in March of this year, the Public Safety Committee made a definitive decision that this was going to continue as a countywide service for as long as it could. In June of this year, the Public Safety Committee agreed to have Joe Brandt from Point Clinical Consultants evaluate the EMS service after concerns were raised by the state EMS director and the Medical College of Wisconsin. As I indicated, there had been an internal investigation ongoing, and the state EMS director, who also works for the Medical College of Wisconsin, sent a medical director here to review some files, and they indicated that that perhaps there were some concerns that we needed to look at, and so the committee did hire Point Clinical Consultants to look at this situation. On July 11th, the Public Safety Committee received Mr. Brandt's report and decided that it was time to start recruitment for EMS director and to move forward with a formal contract for a medical director. Currently, and for as long as we have been involved in the EMS, our medical director has been done on a voluntary basis. We don't have a formal director. We don't have a formal contract with the director. We don't have any parameters for how much time the medical director is supposed to spend with our employees, how many cases they need to review, and so it was time that our service has moved to a professional level, and that needs to be formalized, and so we are working on making that switch. On September 3rd, the Public Safety Committee tabled the hiring of an EMS director for 1 month for the purposes of background checks and information on management systems. I should say that in July, they did make Mr. Brandt interim director, and then we did advertise for an EMS director, and we had one applicant at the time that we went to the committee meeting on September 3rd, and it was at that time that the Public Safety Committee decided to table any decisions for 1 month so that they could look at some of the information. On September 8th, we had a special public safety meeting because our interim director quit on September 3rd after the meeting was over. And so we had a meeting on September 8th to talk about where we're going to go from here. At that time, the committee reiterated that it has no intention of selling EMS or contracting it out, that they wanted to keep it county employees and a county service. The second rumor that had been floating around is that both consultants, and this would be the Fitch and Associates report as well as the Point Clinical Services report, have stated that the EMS service is wonderful and should not be changed. This is also fiction. Both consultants stated that there are many good employees in the service. They both stated that changes need to be made to ensure sustainability. Both consultants recommended maintaining a county-wide system with various changes. Point Clinical Consultants stated if the board allows WCEMS to function as it is currently functioning, the system will fail within 3 to 5 years. That was in July of this year. Fitch and Associates stated that there are 50 benchmarks used in reviewing an EMS service, and our service could only document achievement of 22 of those benchmarks. That was in 2013. So here are some of the things, and I know that you all received a copy of the Fitch report and that they had done a report here to us. So in July of 2013, we got their final report, and these are some of the things that Fitch had found within our EMS service that we needed to work on. That we don't really have a strong quality management program. We don't regularly measure clinical and operational skills of our staff to ensure competency of them. Our electronic patient care reports are not monitored for protocol compliance. Our medical director does not perform any random, that's patient care report reviews. 100% of patient care reports only contain one crew member's signature when it should have had both crew members signing them. All ambulances at the time of their evaluation had loose equipment in the patient compartment, which can be dangerous both to staff and to clients. There was no contract or job description for the medical director, and leadership and staff communication needed improvement back in 2013. When we had Point Clinical Consultants do their evaluation this year, so a year after we had gotten the Fitch report, they also found that we still don't have a quality improvement program, that we do not regularly measure clinical and operational skills of staff to ensure continued competency, that at that time they were unable to determine the percentage of noncompliance with protocols due to, that should be lack of documentation. Medical director reviews patient care reports only when there is an issue, not randomly. Response times are measured but not standardized. Their audit of the patient care reports showed 0% with 2 signatures originally, and they did another audit on June 4th of 10% of the reports and showed 90% at that time were compliant. Average compliance with securing equipment inside patient compartments, but there was still no enforcement to make sure that it was being done. Administration and the committee was working on finalizing a contract for the medical director, and leadership and staff communication needs improvement. So as you can see, over the last year, we haven't made a great deal of strides in making sure that we're working on improving our system to ensure that it can continue to service the residents of Waushara County. And part of the issues had been with, there not being a contract. Part of it is, with management. Part of it is with staff. And the committee had been monitoring all of this, and at times would get reports from the directors, Brian when he was still here, Jeremy when he was acting as interim director, Joe when he was acting as interim director, that would indicate that some of these things had been working on. And Brian had given us some information that he had done some things to changed some of the things that were in the Fitch report, but then when we got the new report a year later, those things really hadn't been improved to the extent that it was stated to the committee. And so the committee was facing a situation where they weren't really getting the full information of what was going on. Sometimes it seemed like they were hearing what they were told what they wanted to hear and not necessarily the true situation. And so things have gone slowly over there, but it's been a process of both the committee and the staff learning to talk to each other once again and learning to trust each other once again. And so it has been an ongoing problem. The next rumor that's been going around is that the county board and administration are committed to making changes to EMS. This is a fact. After the Fitch report, the Public Safety Committee administration asked the director to work on recommendations and report back. The Personnel Committee and administration continued to negotiate a contract with the union and did so without having to go to arbitration. The Public Safety Committee and administration continue on working on securing a medical director and have had conversations with Wild Rose Hospital and are continuing that process. The second consultant was brought in after an internal investigation raised concerns about quality of care, lack of standard of care protocols, and reports of noncompliance with the Fitch recommendations. Ongoing active recruitment for a director after consideration of management alternatives in the wake of the interim director resigning. And so the board did decide, the Public Safety Committee, I should say, did decide on September 8th that they wanted to re-advertise for a director for in-house, and that has been started. We're contacting a lot of the state organizations. We're contacting the state EMS. We're contacting some of we're reaching out to people in the union level to try and get a wider range of applicants to apply this time so that we have a better pool to pick from when we do that process. Waushara County EMS makes money for the county. Fiction. While EMS budgets for $1.48 million in revenue, it also receives $1.03 million in tax levy to operate. The total budget for expenses of EMS is $2.5 million. $232,000 of that is related to dispatch. They pay a portion of the dispatch costs relating to calls that they get and also to help out with some of our caps and our limits. $2.25 million is budgeted for EMS operations. So it's not fair to state that EMS is only not making money because it's absorbing some of the dispatch costs. It costs more money to operate than what they're able to bring in revenue. $1.74 million of that budget is for EMS salary and benefits. So it is a very expensive department for the county, and you know, it's something that, and that's one of the reasons why both consultants said that it wasn't sustainable as it was currently operating, because that's going to cost you a lot of money to keep providing that service on a yearly basis if you don't have all of your efficiencies. The Public Safety Committee administration are not contemplating selling EMS service. They're not talking about laying off any employees, and they're not talking about contracting the service to a private agency. The committee and administration are committed to making necessary changes in management and staff operations to ensure quality care and the financial sustainability of the service. Union leadership has been actively engaged with administration, discussing changes and offering suggestions for the improvement of the service. And I would say that that continues to increase now that the contract has been settled. The union leadership has been very open, even in the last parts of the negotiations, recognizing that there are some changes that need to be made in order to keep the service as a county-wide service. And so that relationship is getting stronger by the day. That is on their management level. It's also within some of our employees are also very interested in this, as well as Jeremy, who is the current deputy director, has been working with the committee and administration as well. Change is necessary to maintain a county-run service. Without it, the system will fail. So I guess that what I want everybody in the room to take out of this is that the Public Safety Committee is not planning on selling EMS. That being said, there was some discussion about possibly having a contract for some of the management services for EMS. It would not affect existing employees. It would not affect the paramedics. It would not affect the EMTs. But they were at one time looking at the possibility of whether or not we should have a management service come in with a medical director and a management team that would be able to run that show. Currently, they are not considering that option. They are looking at having a director in-house again, but they did have those discussions. But those discussions never related to our employees. It only related to management services. I know that there have been a lot of talk out there that the county board doesn't know what they're doing, that they are forcing people out who are good employees, that they are letting good situations walk away. That's not what's happening. We have had several meetings where we have talked about EMS, and the committee is very committed and have made their wishes very well known to Deb and I, and given us what they want us to do, the information that they want us to bring back to them, so that they can try to ensure that this service remains a county service. But there are problems over there, and it is going to be a continuous change for now until the foreseeable future in order to get this corrected. And without that change, you'll have no choice. You're not going to be able to afford to continue to run it the way that you're running it now. You're just not. We don't have that kind of money. And if you're going to continue it as is, you're going to have to make tough choices and stop providing other services. So I don't know if anybody has any questions or if any of the committee members have anything that they want to add.
Thanks, Ruth. Next, we have Human Services Department Annual Report. And our new Human Services Department.
Well, thank you for having us. Hopefully we'll have a much happier report than the one you just got. So again, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Dawn Buchholz, the new director for Human Services. I've actually been with Waushara County for 12 years, though, so I'm certainly not new to Waushara County. It's really been, I will honestly say, honor and a privilege to have been here for 12 years and to be in our county. As you guys know, for the most part, we've really had a great working relationship with Sheriff's Department, Corp Counsel's Office, District Attorney, the court, the schools, everyone to really work together to provide our services to the citizens of Waushara County. So we're just really, really happy to be here, and I'm really excited about our future. So I'm going to introduce, the staff's going to come up. We have our management team behind me, and they'll come up and introduce themselves, and I'll introduce our deputy director, who is Renee Sirocco. Renee, if you want to stand. So she's replacing Paul Thiel, who retired in January. So basically, what do we do over in Human Services? Very fast-paced arena. We're always changing to make sure we're meeting all the new state and federal mandates and all the things we need to take care of. Demands, a variety of factors really will push those demands, the main ones being things like poverty. Waushara County continues to be a very poor county overall. Unemployment, substance abuse is definitely up there. Mental illness, abuse and neglect of children and of vulnerable adults is just to mention a few. The trend appears to be the ongoing increase in demand for all services, including kids, adults, and elderly. So I guess that part's not good news. But these needs have required more need for placements, especially in high needs, behaviorally challenged children and adults. We're seeing that. We've seen quite an increase in over the last several years of having to do more high-end contracted placements with children that we could not maintain successfully in the community, unfortunately. But we are still striving, and I think we have some good things ahead of us as far as being able to provide more services in the community, get fully reimbursed for those services, or at least a good chunk of those services reimbursed, so we can bring those costs down and more effectively serve our consumers. So one of the things, like I said, we have mandates all the time. The feds and the state constantly want to give the counties one more thing. And WICSA, the Wisconsin County Human Services Association, we do have committees and policy advisory committees. We're working closely with the state to say, you know, that's great, even if philosophically we agree with the mandate, there needs to be funding because the counties can't just keep absorbing all those costs. So who are we? A diverse group of professional and support staff. We have people that have worked in Waushara County Department of Human Services for over 30 years, and we have some that just started this month. So really a very diverse group of folks that provide our services. And so I'm going to let the management team come up and talk about their specific services that they oversee, and then any questions you have during, or you can save them to the end, either way is fine, and then I'll come do wrap up at the end.
Hi, my name's Carol Ann Yeska. I'm the Child Protective Services Supervisor. I am new to this position, so I took over for Dawn when she moved up into Glenn's spot. So I supervise 4 CPS social workers, 1 access worker, so the worker that takes your calls when you want to make a CPS report, 1 family services aide, and then the foster care coordinator. Juvenile justice is, the supervisor is Lindsay Campbell-Eben. She is at the JJ yearly conference tonight, so she can't be here, so she asked me to talk on behalf of her team. She has 3 JJ social workers, and then 2 workers who provide services for children with disabilities, so a birth to 3 social worker and a children's long-term support worker. And then she also has an independent living worker and a child care admin worker that she supervises. One trend that she's noticing in JJ is the numbers that they serve are so unpredictable. You know, that we can see trends of, you know, increases one year and then dropping down the next year. So that 3rd JJ social worker recently went from that half-time position up to a full-time position because of the increase in their numbers. She's also seeing a huge increase in children, very young children with mental health and behavioral issues. And then we're also finding a lot of families moving here from other counties with huge needs. So we're kind of dumped on here. And then there's also this proposal of 17-year-old children, 17-year-old youth returning to the JJ system. Right now, a 17-year-old is an adult. So, you know, while that's great because we want to help these children, they are still children at 17, that will come at a cost. And then we're finding a lot of parents not engaged in children. You know, I raise them, but you fix them. So they're being dumped on us. And then we're trying to limit the numbers that are being placed in secure detention. And we're also seeing a lot of failed adoptions. So the people that we served this year, the JJ referrals, so those delinquencies, there were 78 this year, which was a decrease from 2012, as you can see, but also a lot of those were higher needs. And then child abuse and neglect referrals, we had 400 this year, so just a little bit of a drop from last year. This year we were able to recruit 2 more foster homes, so we have 13 licensed foster homes in Waushara County, which is amazing for the size of our county. But we do still fall short when we need like that emergency respite. You know, we have a kid blowing out of his home tonight, so trying to find one of those 13 homes to take a child is sometimes a struggle, especially on a Friday night. And then our substitute care, we have 31 children were placed out of their homes in 2013. So of those 31 children, 15 children were placed in foster homes. 4 of those children this year, though, were reunified with their parents. 4 of them had relatives who took guardianship of them. 2 of those children were adopted or are awaiting adoption. 4 of the children remain in foster home placements as of the end of the year, and 1 of the child aged out of the foster care system. 10 of the children of those 31 were placed with kin or like kin. So 5 of those children were reunified with their parents. 3 of those children were adopted or are awaiting adoption, and 2 are still in their relative placement.
What do you mean by like kin?
So not a relative, not a direct relative, so not aunt or an uncle. So now you can state, I want my child to live with my friend who we have to check out. You know, so there's definite things that we have to do to allow a child to place with these people, you know, but it's not, we don't just look at grandparents or aunts and uncles anymore. We will look beyond that. And then 6 of those 31 children were placed in contracted placements, like Dawn was stating, those RCIIs that are like the Tomorrow's Children, and homes where, you know, those children are placed in a home with other children. 1 of those were reunified with a parent, 1 aged out, and 4 children still remained in those contracted placements as of the end of the year. As far as our juvenile detention days, there was a huge decrease in that from 2012. As you can see, we only utilized 165 days in 2013, so that was good news. Any questions for my part now, or? No? Okay. Lynn?
Oh, Carol Ann.
Oh, I'm sorry. Everett, hi.
First ones you had, there were more of the children were, I can't think what, can you go back to one of the first slides you had?
Sure. Too far?
There's one more slide. I mean, that's hard to say. You know, we have higher needs adults having children, so you might have a parent with mental health or substance abuse issues having children, so then whether that be organic or just environmental, being raised by these parents, you know, they're a result of their environment. So we've seen that a lot, which then we also get that dropping down to parents not engaged. You know, if they can't even meet their own needs, they can't meet their children's needs. So.
We're also seeing a couple of them that are now getting older, so some of their issues that are maybe just now being diagnosed are showing increasing behaviors, and as they get bigger, some of them have violent tendencies, and so they're not as easy to manage as a 2-year-old, and so once they get to be older, then we're seeing that now there's some more violence issues that, because they're also getting bigger.
And as well as drug-affected babies. You know, you won't see those issues come out as a 0 to 3-year-old, but 4 and 5, which then people just think, the school thinks there's something wrong with my child, but really that's when substance abuse, morphine, OxyContin, heroin, parents, their children will have behaviors at about 4 or 5. So.
Do we still have the arrangement? Is it Portage County that we have a secure detention?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And what happens when a child ages out? There's no service?
No.
Do they get some help somehow?
Yes, if they were in independent living, they'll still receive services, and the federal law is just changing now, if I remember right. a child can actually stay in a foster home if they're in school up until their age of 21. Okay, if they have an IEP. So they won't age out as...
IEP, individual education plan with the school district.
Oh, okay.
So that's just a brand new law. We did get just a minimal amount of funding for that. I mean, really, just a few $100s. The good part about that is if it's a child in a RCC, one of those really high-cost placements, the state will cover those. But any of the other group homes, treatment foster homes, which also can get pricey, we would be on the hook for, and they're not going to reimburse us enough. But we do try to hook those folks up with family care, so they can have an adult screen. We can do an adult screen at 17 and a half, try to move them on to adult programming. CCS, CSP, which we'll talk about that later in our report, and those types of adult programming.
Any other questions? Okay. Thank you.
That's okay. Other part, just real quickly, these are some of the multi-county collaborations in Child and Family Services and in Human Services in general. There's been a real push from the state, rightfully so, to do more regionalization so we can really share resources with some of our counties close by that are also usually smaller counties. So one of them is the Quad County Family Resource Center Network. You might hear about that. That's with us, Marquette, Green Lake, and Adams County, where we come together and pool resources to do, like, for example, we have a parenting class tonight in Watoma, but Marquette County, Green Lake, and Adams County residents are welcome to that. And that kind of helps our numbers. That's through a grant through the Children's Trust Fund, and Bernadette is on our committee for that program. Permanency roundtables is where it's a very specific case consultation by the state. Again, there's been a real push to find permanency for kids sooner. We know that kids that do age out of the system, the numbers for them aren't good. Those kids don't fare very well as a general rule. The statistics are very poor for those kids. So this is an effort to try to help them to find that forever home, that forever family, prior to them turning 18 and going into adulthood. In-home safety services is a state fully funded grant. I personally love this program because, first of all, we don't have to pay for a dime besides, my time and the workers' time. And it's 6 other counties, and some of those are different counties that we're not used to working with, like Waukesha is one of them, Dodge County is one of them, and then us normal 4, Waushara, Adams, Marquette, and Green Lake. And that provides intensive in-home services to some of our really high needs families for a very short period of time, for like 60 to 90 days, just to try to make that home safe, find out what's going on, what are the ongoing needs so that we can keep those kids safely in their homes. And then finally, alternative response is another state program that's really just now, for about 2 years, the state didn't have a worker doing that, but now they do. And it's basically just a different way to do child protection services for non-sexual abuse cases, non-egregious cases, to try to engage the family better at an earlier time. We find if we can engage them early on, then it's much more likely that they'll accept our services and work with us and have a positive outcome. So just wanted to talk about those briefly.
Good evening. Another lifetime ago, I was a minister, so this kind of reminds me of that. So let's pass the plate. Ruth is going to come and sing a song for us, so we appreciate that.
I thought she'd read the scripture.
Yeah. Let's open your Bibles. Currently, I serve as CCS and CSP director for Waushara County, so this is one of my programs. We have 1 supervisor, 7 service facilitators. The Comprehensive Community Services team includes service facilitators as well as staff from other departments such as therapists, mentors, case managers, AODA counselors, other human service staff, as well as contracted services with LEF, Waushara Industries, and in-home parenting services. We can continue the philosophy of being recovery-oriented, person-centered, and work with consumers to assist them with goals that they desire to attain. This is the big news that everybody's been working towards. I have been with Human Services here for a year, and this is kind of what we've been working towards. This is the big news that everybody's talking about. The governor said CCS has been so effective that he wanted to put more money into CCS. And so currently how it worked was MA, Medicaid, would reimburse us at 60%. So if I would bill something at $100, they were only going to give the county $60 of that. Governor Walker said if you would regionalize with other counties, that other $40, for 40% that the state was keeping. They were keeping the federal share. So he said, if you would regionalize, we'll give you the whole thing. We'll give you 100%. We'll give you the 60% that you get now and the federal share, so you can have the entire $100. And you can imagine how excited we are about that. So the governor allocated the federal share of MA to counties for CCS services if counties would provide regional CCS services. Our region consists of Washoe County. Oh boy, Dennis, you may have to help me with this. Marquette County, Juneau, Adams, Green Lake, and Wapaka. Perfect. Thank you, everybody. You're all hired for CCS service facility. So the aim of this process is to bring together, share best practices, innovative contracting, prevention services, quality service to consumers in Washoe County and our region. We served approximately 25 CCS clients in 2013 and anticipate significant growth in our consumer numbers to approximately 40 or more. We're working towards outreach and more referral services, whether it's through our public health department, doctors in the area, La Clinica, things like that. So we're really anticipating quite a bit of growth here in CCS. Although the funding is only guaranteed per the governor's biannual budget, it's anticipated that CCS will be 100% funded for the next several years at least, and likely beyond. I kind of joke that when politicians they want to move east, they get real creative and innovative, and so this is one of those efforts, I think, and we're very appreciative of just how innovative it is. I will say that we have met as a region. We formed a committee, and our own Dennis Weddy is the chairman of that committee for our region. So we joke that I railroaded him into that job, but I like to think that he volunteered. So thank you for the volunteer, Dennis. We appreciate it. So any questions on CCS? All right. I think we move on to CSP. Community Support Program. 1 supervisor, 4 social workers, 1 nurse, and we also have 1 psychiatrist. Our Community Support Program continues to provide ongoing case management services to persons with severe, persistent, and disabling mental health issues, including symptom and medication management, independent living skills, training, social interactions, and advocacy to other agencies on behalf of our clients. The majority of our clientele usually begin their involvement with CSP after being hospitalized and being under Chapter 51 civil commitment. The difference into enrollment, that CCS enrollment for a consumer to get into CCS, they can have any mental health and substance use diagnosis, any at all. Most will qualify. For CSP, it has to be one of the major ones. So we're talking schizophrenia, bipolar, major depression, if it's debilitating enough, can get a client into CSP. Okay, next slide, please. The trends. Our CSP program continues to grow as referrals continue to be made. At the close of the year, we had 36 clients in CSP, which is up 4 clients from the previous year. Hospital stays are down, which is largely due to quality case management. I think I counted this year, I think we have, differentiating between hospital stays and stabilization, I think we've had 3 or 4 days only of hospital stays for our CSP consumers this past year. Within Washoe County CSP, we had a case manager retire in 2014, so it increased the workload for our remaining case managers, but they continued to provide quality case management. Our clients have benefited from as being part of our CSP programming. We have hired a new case manager. We stole her from Child and Family, and she's currently being trained and has already begun some light case management duties. I will tell you that both of these programs I feel pretty proud about, and I think you could too. As far as in our region, being part of the Central Wisconsin Health Partnership and those 5 other counties, I think kind of we're the torch holder. A lot of people look to us for a model. In fact, I was just informed that Iron County has arranged to come down and just kind of look at our CCS program and kind of model what we do. So it's something to be pretty proud of that. So any questions along that order?
One thing I just want to mention about this is, like Clint said, one of the reasons
$1,000 a day.
$1,000 a day. So it's in everyone's best interest, these programs such as CSP and CCS. You know, not only should we, you know, try to serve our clients because it's the right thing to do and we want to provide these services, but they really, really help to keep those numbers down.
Perfect. Okay, thanks, folks.
Thank you.
My name's Wade Rasmussen, and like Clint, I used to be a ordained minister as well. So we can go with the liturgy next.
We're all in good hands.
I am the clinical manager, so I head up the clinicians as well as the crisis team. We'll have a little bit more of that. And Sue is our substance abuse specialist. So right now we've got 3 psychotherapists, 1 substance abuse counselor / coordinator, Sue Szymanski, 4 professional mentors, 1 coordinated service team coordinator, 1 substance abuse prevention specialist / OWI assessor, and 1 part-time psychiatrist. We are also contracted out with all area counseling that they provide mental health and substance abuse care for the county's adults. Right now, the county is taking care of the children and the adolescents. We serve nearly 1,000 citizens yearly, and we provide mental health and substance abuse counseling, psychiatry, psychological evaluations, and professional mentoring services to family and children.
I guess a couple things I'd like to say, and you guys are probably happy to see the new faces because I'm the old face in the crowd here now. More ways than one. Yeah. So I guess maybe just one of the things I would like to thank you for is one of the big changes that I've seen over the years working here is the mentoring program that the county board has supported and our human services board has supported, because the mentoring program helps us so much as counselors and as therapists, as alcohol and drug counselors, because we can see people in our offices for counseling, but the mentors can actually go to their homes and can help kids get to school every day if their parents aren't getting up and getting them to school, or can take them to fun activities that maybe they wouldn't get a chance to do, and can help them learn to socialize with other kids and make friends and not be bullied or not bully other people. And so we all work together as a team, and that's been really a positive change over the last, 7 years maybe? Yeah. I primarily do substance abuse counseling, and it's been interesting with the trends. We keep hearing about more heroin use in our county, and we tend to think of that as being young people. And it is young people, but it's more people usually in their 20s and 30s. It's not teenagers really yet. I'm actually seeing more young people who are seeing me because they're scared and worried and concerned about their parents' drug or alcohol problem. In a lot of ways, I'm seeing more kids with that kind of a problem than having a drug or alcohol problem themselves. I don't know. You guys can read.
Yeah, I guess you can read, but one of the things that we have come to understand is there's an awful lot of prescription fraud, mismanagement. People will pick up prescriptions, they will turn around and they will sell them for an exorbitant amount and buy cheap heroin. So it's something that is rather alarming, to us. And that got started a few years ago when doctors were required to manage people's pain at a greater extent. And I don't quite recall what that was called. Kevin over in public health. Well, do you know what that's called, the fifth standard, or?
It's just the fifth, they talk about wellness and stations and stuff, but anyway, they said they weren't managing it well enough, so.
Right.
They needed to work on it. It's
Yeah. So they come in and they've got a phantom pain. What is your pain level? A scale of 1 to 10. It's a 8.5. Okay, well we'll provide you with something for your pain. They will turn around and they'll sell it on the street. Kids take it to school. Sue Szymanski goes to school and takes care of our children.
On the next slide, Deb, are you doing the slides? Sure. I think we talked about, did we talk about the heroin? Yeah. We had this heroin summit where a number of doctors actually attended, and that's one of the things that we've been working on with the Public Health Department. It's been a really nice partnership. We've been sponsoring, you probably know all about the drug take-back days where people can drop off their unused medications and stuff so that they're not out on the street being sold or could be stolen. So we've been having 2 of those a year, and we've been trying to set up some education for doctors, which is something we're working on. We've obtained a PowerPoint that we can use with medical doctors. And it's kind of touchy because we're not doctors and we're trying to tell doctors what to do. So we have to be a little bit careful about that. But they've been really cooperative, and it's really helpful to have public health involved because the medical field sees that as more of a health problem then. So I guess that's about all I have to say.
Okay, there were 143 OWI assessments in 2013, up from 127 in 2012. Had 25 court-ordered participants in our underage drinking class, and that's what you run.
And that's way down. That was down by about 50% this year. We canceled 2 classes because we didn't have enough people, which is really unusual. So I don't know if that means kids aren't drinking as much, but they're using other drugs, or if we are finally winning that battle a little bit. That's true. In 2014, we've had more people from other counties than, yeah. So I think, anything else for clinical?
I don't think so.
Thank you. Questions? Thank you.
The next, I'm also manager of the Crisis Intervention and Adult Protective Services. 1 supervisor, 1 lead social worker, along with 3 crisis workers and 1 support staff. Let's go down to the bullets. From January through December of 2013, the unit responded to 748 calls that required a file or case to be opened. The program is duly credentialed to undertake adult protective services, providing intervention and services to any vulnerable adult 18 years of age or older. So the total number of adult protective service call topics fielded were 344 for 2013, with 244 unduplicated calls. All calls included abuse of adults at risk, elder abuse, domestic violence, financial exploitation, neglect, addictions, self-neglect, and sexual abuse. The crisis unit continues to assist the Child and Family Unit of Human Services with after-hour juvenile intake and child protective service support. The crisis unit is a mobile unit. We respond to the crises after 4:30. People go home. We put on our crisis phones. People give us a call. We usually get a call from dispatch. Wade, we need to have you go here. Would you come in to the sheriff's department? So we will deal with adult protective service issues. We will deal with mental health cases. We will deal with unruly adolescents. We will deal with situations where children need to be protected. At the bottom, crisis unit remains convinced that criminal activity and substance abuse issues remain the major obstacle for our clients in undertaking and following recommended treatment strategies. Next one. One of the things that we do that I'm very happy about, that first bullet, crisis unit practices ongoing debriefing to provide our workers with opportunities to process interventions and minimize residual exposure effects. What does that mean? Minimize burnout from what we do. We get together on a weekly basis. We talk about our cases. We talk about how it went, talk about how we're feeling, and it seems to help. Crisis team is increasingly using voluntary hospital administrations with mental health clients in conjunction with state guidelines. What does voluntary admissions to mental health hospitals mean? It means that we don't pay for them, which is a good thing. One of the trends we see, we increased adult protective services with the aging out of our county population. Ongoing IT meetings and collaboration with law enforcement, district attorney, and community leaders, increasing knowledge / investigations of financial exploitations of vulnerable adults, as well as collaboration with law enforcement. Another trend is we see an increased prescription drug misuse and alcoholism that are tied to crisis unit interventions, and we find ourselves being called more and more to the county jail to intervene there as well. I-team meetings, you know, I wish I knew as much as I wished I knew when it came to I-team. I know that it is something that is run by my lead, Kevin Keith, and there we go. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And that's that.
That's that. Get the ministers off the floor. Sorry. Hi, I'm Kate Surprise, and I supervise 2 of the units within our department, one being economic support. Our economic support workers are our public assistance eligibility workers. So we're doing eligibility for food share, for medical assistance, for some of the other programs that you can see up there. One of the other things that our department does is that we do emergency assistance applications for individuals, and one of the benefits we have is that for the kettles that are rung through the Salvation Army, we get about 85% of those dollars stay in Waushara County. And all of the intake, if you will, for those funds come through our department. We try to get our staff involved in a variety of the community different organizations that are out there. If you hear one trend and one thing that we keep saying is we're a part of various consortias. As you can see, we're on the bottom. I don't need to read all the counties. We're part of a 10-county consortia for our income maintenance programs. You can flip the slide. As part of that partnership, our workers operate a call center. So individuals in any of those 10 counties can call a call center if they have any changes to make to their case. If they started a new job, if they quit a job, if they had a baby, if they got married, if somebody moved out. So anybody who's working in that call center who are actual workers in our county and our partner counties are answering those calls and able to work on those changes in their case. In 2013, just our 10 counties answered over 232,000 calls. And at the rate we're going right now, we're going to be over 275,000 just in our call center. Our workers are working half-day shifts. We currently cover 16 shifts a week. One of the things that you'll find probably important is that Waushara County workers are actually doing all of the reviews and the new applications for our Waushara County residents. So when they're in the call center, they're working on other counties' cases, but those other counties are also working on our county, our cases. But people can apply also through the call center. So, of course, the big news over the past year was with the Affordable Health Care Act. The new open enrollment period is coming up. And so our county continues to receive additional funding to help with the Affordable Health Care Act. As you can see, our case numbers have gone up over the year, and that's largely due to now adults without disabilities from the age of 19 through the age of 64 now, if they're eligible, income eligible, can be on Badger Care. So that's kind of that new group. I just received an email today about how many people in Waushara County have enrolled for a qualified health plan through the federal marketplace, and it's 605 individuals. So it was just kind of some interesting information for today. If you change the slide again. I also supervise what's remaining of our long-term support unit. Again, we work, one of our staff works in our Aging and Disability Resource Center, which is again a partner there's 4 counties in our Aging and Disability Resource Center. We also have 2 other staff that do a variety of all the bullet points listed. They do some contracted services with Care Wisconsin. They handle Social Security checks for another number of people with disabilities and older folks. They do some training and some coordination with CLINTS programs, with Community Support Program and Comprehensive Community Services. They're doing court order reviews, working with Ruth, and they do just a little bit of case management. So is there any questions about economic support or long-term support? Good. Thank you.
Got to bring this down a little bit. I'm Brenda Ruby. I'm the supervisor of the financial unit, and my unit consists of a finance assistant along with 2 account clerks. We work very well as a team. What one person doesn't know or can't figure out, one of the other ones can. So we work very well together. One of our account clerks, Paula Spielman, is retiring in October, and she's been with the county for like 40 years. So we wish her well. We're going to miss her, but she's served us well. She served Waushara County very well. Tammy Wartzenluft was in our front office at Human Services, and she is going to be moving into Paula's position, so I'm sure she will serve us as well, a good job as well. We recently converted to the new state PPS data collection system, and we're also implementing an updated software system program with GIT. This, of course, all involves more additional information to be collected and submitted to the state. Always seems to be more and more of that. The PPS system is a state data system, and it replaced an old HISR system at the state. And our GIT, which is our WISIS system, is our internal agency data collection system. And it also does our accounts payable, receivables. I lost my train of thought. Anyway, it's like it connects the state and the county. We connect with Springbrook for the county, and we connect with PPS for the state, so that it's a single source entry and we only have to enter one time. So that works out really good. We're also bringing in a new, for the electronic records for our clinical staff. They currently don't enter into the system, and they will be hopefully sometime early in 15. I don't know if it'll happen by the end of the year, but by 15 they should start being able to do that. We continue to be the fiscal agent for the 4-county ADRC consortium, which is Green Lake, Marquette, Waushara, and Adams. And we work constantly to stay current with the state and federal requirements, which, like I said, requires more and more reporting on our end. It always seems to get more complex as time goes. But financial unit stays very busy, and we face new challenges every day. So, any questions? Thank you.
So Brenda and her unit is what keeps us afloat, so we can keep doing the work that we want to do. And so again, just in closing, our work responsibilities, obviously they're complex, they're changing. We have lots of different programs doing lots of different things, but really trying to keep it all tied together too. And I think again, what Waushara County I found and just appreciated so much over the years is we really don't work in silos here. We really work to break those silos down, not only within human services, but in all the other services and departments in the county. So that's been very impressive. Constantly we got the new mandates, the new requirements, different consumer issues depending on the year and the trend or the drug of choice or whatever the issue is at the time. So we really do have to stay informed and progressive in our delivery of services as best we can. We see continued progress as we move forward with new challenges and demands for service. We approach each day as an opportunity to make a difference and to support our hardworking staff. And I will say that you also are very blessed to have truly some hardworking staff. It's not uncommon for us to see some of our exempt staff. I've had staff that put in over 100 hours in a pay period, and they don't get paid for that if they're exempt that over. And the other staff that even if they are hourly really are dedicated. I know they're doing things, off clock. Yeah, not really, no. I mean, very dedicated, let me restate that. Next slide, please. I guess my point is that we do have a really dedicated staff. And one of the things I know you're going to be working on budgets, or we're going to be working on budgets, and is to make professional staff, all of them, exempt. And let me tell you what, you will get your money's worth out of them. Again, collaboration and support, really critical for all county programs. Deb's office has just been great, especially supporting me in my new role. I really couldn't ask for more there. Staff, again, just the hours they put in are sometimes incredible. Special thanks to Ruth's office, the district attorney's office, circuit court, sheriff's department. It's been really a pleasure to work with Jeff and the sheriff's department, especially on some of those drug issues and drug busts that we've had. They work really well with us and let us know when they know kids are going to be involved or vulnerable adults. So that's been wonderful, and they definitely deserve the award they got. Department of Aging, Public Health, of course, our board, all the supervisors. We really couldn't do it without your help. So thank you very much. And
Which one is you, Dawn, in that picture?
I'm the younger one. And I think that's the last. Is there one more slide, maybe? Oh, yeah. Any other last questions? Otherwise, would you guys like a copy of
I agree with Dawn. I think we're very fortunate to have, their group, and working with Sheriff's Department. All of our department heads and our departments work so well together and work so well with other counties. And I don't think every county can say that. So thank you very much. Appreciate it. And we'll move on to UW Extension Annual Report.
Good evening, and we appreciate the opportunity. Our entire staff is smaller than the management staff in Human Services, so our report might be a little shorter. But we also hope that we can provide many of the same types of services and helpful services to our community members. Deb, can you go to the next slide? Thank you. Sure. Just in a snapshot, our mission is that we will improve the lives and communities in Wisconsin through engaged education and research. And our presentation tonight, each of us is going to take a different slide or a series of slides and just give you a snapshot of some of the things that we do, some of the people that we impact. And it's set up kind of as a test, but it's not a test. So we want you to take notes of what your answers might be, and then we'll tell you what the right answer is. Before I forget, the staff that are not here tonight, Terry Hernandez, she's taking Clint and Wade's place she's going to become a clergy at one of the medical facilities in the Fox Valley. So she's doing the opposite trend of you two. And that'll begin in October. I think she's already started an internship because she's only on a part-time basis here. As of December of 2012, I had the opportunity to take on some state responsibilities, and I became a liaison, which means I work with my colleagues in 4-H development in other counties. And since then, we've been able to bring on a 4-H program advisor at an increased amount of time compared to what my time is bought out. The person who is in that position started in Clark County on Monday. So it's the second person that we've had that's moved on to a permanent full-time position. It's good news for them, sad news for us. And many of you know two critical people in our office who are not here tonight. Rosie Kowalski and Natalie Grudowskis are instrumental people in our office who, when I'm out, I tell 4-H volunteer leaders, they probably can answer your questions as well as I can in most cases. So don't be afraid to ask questions of them. If they don't know the answer, we'll get back to you. So Patrick, I think, has the first question.
So in Wisconsin, how often does a county or municipal comprehensive plan have to be updated? And I'll let you just think about that for a second, and then I'll let you know that the answer is B, at least once every 10 years. UW Extension works with the local governments, and one of the things that we do is work with the comprehensive plans. And in the past, there used to be grants available for updating comprehensive plans, but there isn't now available through the state. So one of the things that we've been doing with UW Extension is working with East Central Regional Planning, and we'll be providing new demographic information and other resources to the municipalities to help them with updating their plans. And they'll be doing that with volunteers then, and with our help and with East Central's help. And we update the county plan on an annual basis as well. So this is a way that we can minimize the cost of updating those comprehensive plans. The other time that comprehensive plan has to be updated is if there's something that a town or the county is considering related to zoning or related to a subdivision ordinance that needs to, that the town or the county feel is beneficial or the municipality feels is beneficial, and that decision has to be consistent with the comprehensive plan, so then we have to change the plan and then change the zoning or the subdivision ordinance. So our next question
is Terry's question, and Terry's not here. What is the top outcome the Wisconsin Nutrition Education Program aims to achieve? And as you're reading through those answers, I just want to remind you that the WNEP program, all the salary and benefits for those particular positions are funneled through the state. They're actually federal funds that come through Food Share, which Human Services administers. We provide some other support for Terry here in terms of physical space and some common resources that are used in an office. So what answer do you think the answer is?
All of them.
Right.
And the question is the top. This is, you get to go back to school. What is the top outcome? You have to choose one.
C.
C. Deb wins the prize. She gets fruits and vegetables on her desk tomorrow. They may be plastic, Deb, sorry. But as the answer that you came up with, all of these are focuses of WNEP, but at this point in time, that is the one that they are focusing on. And if you think about the school lunch programs, we'll talk a little bit later in WNEP what the partners are, but a lot of the school lunch programs also have that same focus in terms of increasing more fruits and vegetables being offered and then hopefully consumed by the students.
Where is drink more milk on there? I mean, this is Wisconsin.
Beverage, it's part of water. What's the percent of water in milk, Ken? Can you help us?
Oh, okay.
When you think of 4-H and youth development, you don't always think of economic impact, but as we took a look, and I don't know if any of you had an opportunity to come to the market animal sale at the county fair this year, but we've continued to see an increase in the amount of economic impact as a result of the market animal sale being held. One of those dollar amounts is the amount that was taken in from the buyers this year when the animals were sold. Any thought on the answer? C? Okay, now I don't have my notes here. Can you go to the next one?
Right.
Okay, the next one. These are the years.
Holy man.
1986 is the first year that I have data from. So that's that data. 1994 was the 20th year. That was the first year I was here, so I want to take credit for some of that. No. But I would like to help take credit for some of the increases. If you take a look at it, in 1994, there were 69 animals sold. C, which is 2004, which was 10 years ago, there were 99 animals sold. And in 2014, there were 145 animals sold. Our highest amount is 147 animals, I think, because I have the data from the last 5 years. Just some other facts to know. We've been keeping records since 2002. We have 3 buyers who have made significant purchases, and every buyer is significant. So I don't want to minimize the people who have come in and bought a few animals. Nema's Steak and Chop Shop since in 2002 have bought 54 animals. Paul Miller Farms has bought 41 animals. And Milky Farms, and this is only since 2007, was his first year as a bidder, so he's on track to be in the top 3. He bought 34 animals since 2007. And if you ever talk to Dan, his response is that he felt the support when he was a 4-H member, and this is his way to provide that support to the youth today. There were 75 different buyers this year, and 94 kids sold animals. 2/3 of our 4-H members are in an animal project, so you just learned that about 1/3 of our members, which is just over 300 members, 340 members, are in the Market Animal Project. The other huge animal project in our county is horses, and we have about 75 to 80 kids in our horse project. So, next question is Ken.
How much does it cost to grow an acre of corn?
Just wait a minute, I'll call Paul Miller.
Actually, if you looked in your mailboxes, I stuck a couple of sheets in there this afternoon. You didn't go and pull it out. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Deb. On average, I tell people about $400 to $500 an acre. Most people don't realize it costs that much. I had a grower call just in the last couple of days, or actually sent me an email, and he was figuring his cost was only like about $200. And by the time I got done with it, it was about $350. The sheets in your box today, I did a sheet on, utilizing a spreadsheet that I've developed for farmers to use to actually plug in what their costs are. Unirrigated costs are about $390, $394. Irrigated costs, if you're operating an irrigated crop operation, is about $750. That's going to be an issue coming up over the next coming years. Corn prices right now have dropped down to about $3 to $3.15. So both scenarios, irrigated and non-irrigated crop corn at $3.15, even though you can maybe budget for 225 bushels of corn, growing irrigated corn, you're still going to lose money. The saving grace this year is that most farmers, when we work with farmers, we talk about 2 areas of risk. One is production risk, whether you're going to have the crop or not. And if you're irrigating, you've got the crop, so you don't have the production risk. The other is marketing risk. And we talk to farmers about trying to do some marketing so you can lock in prices. Here in last week of April, first week of May this year, you could have sold forward contracted corn for about $4.75 a bushel. So most farmers, you know, if they're actually in good grain production and they're doing marketing, they've got a large portion of their crop probably locked in at $4, $4.50, $4.75 perhaps. So they're still going to make money this year. The coming year, it might not be quite so good because your futures for next year at this point in time are only about $3.50. So it's going to be tough on farmers, and that's going to percolate back into vegetable crops as well.
Is there an average of how much they lock in? Is there like a standard rule, 50%, 60%, 70%?
It's up to the individual, Deb. But the issue is, if you forward contract 5,000 bushels of corn for delivery in October, you are obligated to deliver that 5,000 bushels of corn. If you grow on unirrigated sand and you don't have that 5,000 bushels, you have to go and buy it, irregardless of the price, because it's termed as a fungible commodity, which means 1 bushel of corn can easily replace any other bushel of corn, and so you are obligated. So on unirrigated sand, you have to be real careful that you don't overbook. If you're irrigated, then you pretty well know you're going to have that product there to sell, so then you can do some more forward contracting. So Yeah, Everett.
Project what percentage of the corn crop won't get ripe this year?
It's going to be a challenge this year, and I'll tell you why. My background is 25 years in vegetable business. In those 25 years, I track temperatures on a daily basis. I had over 20 years worth of data on a computer spreadsheet. Corn, in vegetable operation, you operate by heat units. You plan and project out. Corn is very directly related. The maturity of corn very directly related to the heat units you get. Soybeans will kind of alter itself a little bit based on day length. But right now we're running about 250 heat units behind, which a heat unit is an average of your high and your low temperature minus 50 degrees, which is a base temperature they figure it takes corn to grow. So 250 heat units is the equivalent of about a week and a half of hot summer weather. So we're going to have corn that's going to be immature come fall. It's going to take more LP gas to dry it down. It's going to be high moisture. So it's going to be an issue. Yeah, it'll be there.
Oh, that is not me. How many lake organizations are there in the county, Patrick?
And actually, it's C on the list there. There's 41 lake organizations here in the county. 3 of them are sanitary districts. They don't do a lot with lakes, but they are on the lakes. We have 18 lake management districts and 19 lake associations or property associations on a lake. And then 1 lake council, which incorporates a number of the lake associations and lake districts that are part of the lake council. So besides providing educational assistance to those lake organizations, I've been working with land conservation, and over the next 3 years, we're going to be developing lake management plans for 33 lakes here in Waushara County. It's a project that started as a result of a request from the Lake Council, and they wanted to see if there was a way of cutting the cost of creating a lake management plan. The DNR is looking to move towards lake management plans for the applications for DNR for grants to do work on lakes, because they want to see it as part of an overall approach. So the lake management plans are becoming more important, and the Lakes Council asked if there was a way that the county could assist with that. And the county started with a DNR grant in a couple of years ago. They've done the studies with UW Stevens Point, and now it's UW Stevens Point, UW Extension, the Land Conservation and Zoning Office, and then the DNR grant. And through that, it's not costing the lake management or the lake associations any cost for putting together these lake management plans, because it's all covered by the grant and from the county. Yes?
Isn't Golden Sands involved in that also?
And Golden Sands is involved with it. Also, the DNR comes and we have specialists from the DNR, the fishery, the aquatic plants come in and also talk to the lake management group. So they're getting all of the professional science information that we can provide to them in the process. So they're learning a lot about their lakes, as well as planning what they want to do with their lake in the future.
Is there any progress being made on the lower mill pond? When they drained this mill pond, it caused a lot of problems in the lower mill pond in Dakota. Is there any progress being made on that, or?
Last I heard, that DNR was working with the lower mill pond or the White River flowage to deal with some of that issues of the silt being brought down there. They're not going to draw it down as they did here. They're going to take a different approach to it. They're going to do some work to encourage the flow to be stronger through that area.
Okay, I'll go ahead and take the next one for Terry. By the way, the WNEP program falls under the Family Living Program umbrella. So, nevertheless, how many teaching events did the Waushara County WNEP educator complete in the past year? 75, 128, 169, or 205? Anybody want to guess? Let's find out the answer. Terry had 205 programs that she did in the past year in Waushara County.
What kind of programs would that be?
It would be anything with nutrition that would have been in the variety of partners that we'll see next within the school district, at Waushara Industries. Some of them we did together out at the Waushara County Food Pantry. She and I did a program, so. Yes.
This is a 4-H one again. What of the following are indirect impacts on the market animal sale held at the Waushara County Fair? So we're still focusing on that market animal sale. Families securing feed, families purchasing seed, fertilizer, medication, housing, youth developing decision-making, problem-solving, communication, science, and math skills. 2 of the above or all of the above?
I'll always pick all the above.
All right, next.
Russell, what can I get if I want to rent out my farm?
Anywhere from $50 to $200 an acre.
Okay, I'm going to go a little better than that. Everybody else got kind of an idea? Okay, go ahead, Deb. So I put on Joe. Yep.
I know what they're getting over for potato land.
Okay, top end.
Top end, anywhere from $450 to $500 an acre.
Okay,
I was considering dry land only.
Okay, dry land only. Okay, a lot of variability. Okay.
Irrigated land.
Yeah, you're
4.5 to 550.
Yep, go ahead, Deb. Okay, there you go. And then what I tell people is that anywhere from $0 up to about $500 an acre, and it runs a gamut. You've got some people who are absentee landowners who maybe will let a neighboring farmer work the farm just so they can keep it in agriculture, and it gets taxed as agricultural land rather than as recreational use land. And then you go to dry land corn, dry land areas, and that can be anywheres now with the grain markets being down from $0, $25, up to maybe $50. You get on the eastern side of the county into the heavier soil where you've got more clay-type soils, and then you're going to go up to 100 to 150. Bernadette, somewhere is not quite? Not quite? Okay, but it's going up. And then you get into the irrigated land, and on the top end of that would be potato farmers who need land to grow potatoes in their rotation just basically for 1 year, and that because they don't have enough land to rotate that they own, so they'll work with a neighboring farmer and rent land just to be used for potatoes for 1 year, and that can go up as high as about $450 or $500. So there's a lot of variability, a lot of what-ifs that come into play when you work with these guys. I had an individual call me this last winter. They were going to buy a farm over by Hancock, unirrigated land, and they were from northern Illinois, and they had it figured that they could rent it out and use the rent money to pay the mortgage and pay the taxes and pay all their costs, until I explained to them that you're probably only going to get, if it's unirrigated sand, $25 or $50 an acre, not the $200 an acre that you get in northern Illinois. So it's a whole different animal. So, okay. Any other questions?
If you have a 200-acre farm, what percentage do you have to be farming to have it be considered farmland rather than recreational?
Then we'd have to go to taxman. Do you know, Ruth? I think it's just what I think they would do would be probably be taxing it on the portion or on what acreage actually is used as agriculture. If you've got a part of it that's maybe a swampland or something that's not ag, then a 30-acre parcel. Then, Larry?
What was the question again?
If you had a 200-acre farm, what percentage of that would have to be farmed so that it would still be considered farmland versus recreational land?
There's no minimum requirement. It's possible that somebody could own a 5-acre lot and have the adjacent farmer farm 2 acres of it, and it qualifies for ag use.
Okay.
I think so. I'm going to work on that.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay.
Okay, next. I began working here in December of 2013, so this wouldn't be a report for the fiscal year of 2013, but from then on up until now. Which classes and programs have I offered? Financial capability workshop, basics of food preservation class and positive solutions parenting program, or B, food safety class, slow cookery workshops, and raising a thinking child program, Or C, Cancer Clear and Simple, the Strengthening Families Program, and Parents Forever Co-Parenting Program? Or is it D, all of the above?
All of the above.
Yeah, good job. That is correct. And I just want to say for coming here, there's been a lot of support. And Dawn, when you mentioned silos breaking down, I think it's because of the partnerships that I've been able to offer those programs, whether it's with support from Human Services or Public Health or Food Pantry, Vision 2020. They've all been very helpful in offering referrals and support. So thank you.
Libraries.
And the libraries, too. That is correct.
Okay.
So then as the crow flies, what's the greatest distance anyone in the county is from a grocery store? In the general research, 10 miles in a rural area is considered, if you have to drive more than 10 miles to get to a grocery store, you're considered to be in a food desert. For an urban area like a big city like Milwaukee, it's within 2 miles. But within a rural area, it's 10 miles, you'd be in a food desert. So how far do you think if most people are in Waushara, or all people in Waushara County are from a grocery store?
40 if you want to go festival foods.
Well, the answer is D. It's everyone in the county is within 8 miles of a grocery store. And then also I did some additional research and the potential sales and the population in that 8-mile area is pretty similar to what you'd find for small grocery stores around the country. So that would, if you look at that as being the secondary trade market area for a grocery store, there's about 8.5 million in average in grocery sales potential within that 8-mile radius, except for the city of Wautoma, in which case there's happens to be 17 million in potential sales, which is about double that amount, and we have 2 grocery stores here in Wautoma. So doing that research it shows that there's at least a market potential for our grocery stores in the county. And part of why that's significant is that when we looked at issues of poverty, people within Waushara County have access to food. They have ability to get to the grocery stores. And when we looked at farm stands, there are people within 2 miles of a farm stand. Part of that work is working with Human Services and the Prevention Council and some of the things related to poverty. The other reason why that 8-mile radius is significant is that's probably also the market radius for the other retail businesses that you'd find in our downtown areas, like Bill Wheeler was talking about. We had the Downtown Forum here. For our small downtowns, that 8-mile radius is where most of the market is for our downtowns we have in Waushara County, for the incorporated ones and the unincorporated ones. And so with UW Extension, we do a lot of assistance with local businesses and then working with economic development organizations in the county. We can provide additional information.
Okay, which of the following is not a partner with the Waushara County, Wisconsin Nutrition Education Program? Is it CAP Services, the Wild Rose School District, the Waushara County Jail, Wautoma School District, Waushara Industries, Tri-County School District, or the Waushara County Food Pantry, which is not a partner?
I know it can't be the jail.
Well, actually, the Waushara County Jail is not a partner of the Wisconsin Nutrition Education Program. Why do you say it couldn't be?
Well, I mean, such good food out there.
Okay, it is not the county jail. And I think part of the nutrition education program's focus, too, is working with youth and young children. So, okay.
Next. This is Donna's library question. STEM, Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math programs offered at 7 of the 8 libraries in Waushara County provided youth with the opportunity to learn about wind energy, ecobots, making permanent markers non-permanent, fantastic foam, or all of the above. All of the above. This summer we reached, in Coloma alone, When I first called them, I said, how many do you have? Because Coloma is our newest library to work with. They said 60. I panicked because we only had 2 staff. So we recruited, throughout the summer, recruited everybody to help us with some of the different programs. But Coloma alone, we served 100 kids this summer. So, and that's duplicates. So, but we reached 100 kids with 3 different activities. That is about half of all the kids together. So, and we spent maybe $300-400 to reach those kids. So.
Okay, what area of agriculture in Waushara County is responsible for the greatest economic addition to our county economy? You know, we did the Allison Dairyland program 3 years ago in 2011, and one of the things that really came out and kind of surprised a lot of people as a result of that was the fact that the realization that agriculture is the key economic driver in our county. It's extremely important. So anyways, of those 5 areas, which one do you think is the leading one as far as the most dollars into the county? Everybody saying A? Ah, okay, you're wrong.
You must be kidding.
Oh my gosh, write that down.
Write that down. Donna was wrong.
That happened once before.
Yeah, these are actual numbers out of 2007 census. I did today pull out the numbers from the 2012 census, and they're pretty similar. But yeah, vegetables are the number 1 leader and by far. 50.7 million in 2007 numbers. Milk comes in a close second. It's probably more now with the milk prices being up over the last year or two. That came in at 18.9 million. Grains at 14.7 million. Cattle and calves at 4 million. And Christmas trees at 3.5 million. We are now the second one in the state for Christmas tree production. Jackson County has now surpassed Waushara County. So yeah, so now we're number 2 in Christmas tree production. So, any questions on that?
Maybe that's what I could plant out at the farm.
There you go. You can plant some Christmas trees. Okay. There you go. Tell Dick you've got a new job for him. Okay.
Which UW Extension employee was chosen to teach a programs outreach, opportunity, and leadership workshop session to 75 participants at the 2014 Wisconsin Association of Home and Community Educators Conference last week? Was it Barb Barker, Patrick Nearing, myself, or Ken? It is. I am the, that is right. I am the advisor to the Home and Community Educators, or HCE members. There are over 80 members in the county here, and over 3,500 members statewide. And they go throughout the county providing education and support. So I had the opportunity to teach a Cancer Clear and Simple program to them. Okay, and the next question. Financial literacy programs are offered through individual sessions and through workshops to individuals from which of the following? Was it A, the Waushara County Department of Aging and Waushara County Public Health? Was it B, the Community Action Program Services and Waushara County Human Services? Was it C, the Midwest Forage Association? Or D, the Wautoma School District? Or all of the above?
All of the above.
It is all of the above. When I first came to the county, the Vision 2020 group asked if I would provide some financial information and tools so that throughout the county we would be having more consistency when we're working with clients on their financial management. So I held a workshop in June to offer support and tools to our county partners. So we're trying to work on the same page as far as the language that we're using when we're talking with clients around their personal finances. And at the state level, I've also taught financial education with a couple of my colleagues to the Midwest Forage Association. Basically, those are manure haulers, which include people from Waushara County and other neighboring counties. Okay. Any questions as the clock is ticking down? Thank you so much.
Great presentation.
Thank you.
And I do have to stick up for Jeff. the food service out at the jail is contracted out, and so that company that we contract with takes care of all the nutrition needs, and that's why we don't work, or they don't work with you. There you go, John. Okay, next we are going to move on to, I think we had some great presentations tonight. I really enjoyed them. Very good, all of you. Really good. We're going back to consideration and possible action on the following resolutions and ordinance.
Resolution number 25-9-14, acknowledgement of Glenn Johnson's service to and retirement from Waushara County.
Would you like to read that for us, or do you want me to?
Whereas the County of Waushara wishes to take this opportunity to express its appreciation to Glenn Johnson for nearly 11 years of service and dedication to Waushara County, and whereas acknowledgement is given to Glenn for the conscientious and compassionate service he gave to the citizens of Waushara County throughout the years. Now therefore be it resolved by the Waushara County Board of Supervisors that the County Board, on behalf of the grateful residents of Waushara County, does hereby commend Glenn Johnson for his years of service to the residents of Waushara County. Every good wish goes to him for a fruitful, wonderful future filled with contentment and joy.
Very good.
I move to approve it.
Motion by Weddy to approve, second by Bernadette. Is there any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Resolution number 26-9-14, acknowledgement of Susan Younger's service to Waushara County. Whereas the County of Waushara wishes to take this opportunity to express its appreciation to Susan Younger for her decades of service and dedication to Waushara County, and whereas acknowledgement is given to Susan for the conscientious and compassionate service she gave to the citizens of Waushara County throughout the many years. Now therefore be it resolved by the Waushara County Board of Supervisors that the County Board, on behalf of the grateful residents of Waushara County, does hereby commend Susan Younger for her years of service to the residents of Waushara County. Every good wish goes to her for a fruitful, wonderful future filled with contentment and joy.
Thank you. Yes. Motion by Weddy, second by Eckstein. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. I'll let Ruth do this one. She will.
Resolution number 27-9-14, a resolution thanking Rose Wendt for her generous offer to the residents of Waushara County.
Whereas on May 13th, 2013, Rose Wendt sent a letter of intent to Debbie Pavla, Director of the Department of Aging, advising that she intended to donate up to $250,000 to Waushara County for the construction of a handicapped accessible dining room and baking facility at the county kitchen. And whereas such intended gap was meant to benefit all citizens of Waushara County without any individual benefit to Ms. Wendt, and whereas the action of Ms. Wendt has shown her to be a generous and highly respected citizen of Waushara County, now therefore the Waushara County Board of Supervisors does hereby issue this resolution as a formal thank you to Ms. Rose Wendt for her generous offer and kind heart.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I would move to approve the resolution.
Motion by Weddy, second by Eckstein. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Rose is with us tonight, and thank you very much for all you do.
Resolution number 28-9-14, hiring of additional staff to bring back adult AODA and mental health clinic.
So basically, we've been thinking for probably the last couple years about the need to probably bring back in alcohol and drug adult services and mental health, the clinic, the actual clinic of therapists and AODA counselors that serve that population. Just some ongoing issues. Staff turnover at all area has been pretty high. We actually stole a number of their staff that came and worked for us in Clinton Wade. And then as time went on, I know one of their therapists now is left to go work in Point. So we've really, they've really struggled to keep people employed there. And then also with the drug court coming back on, there's been some issues there getting those clients served quickly, which I know Share County has put in a lot of effort and resources into the drug court. And so we really need to serve those clients quickly. There's long waiting lists at all area, but then yet at the same time, not everyone makes their appointments. And we really believe that if we bring that back in-house, we'll be able to use some of our other staffing and, again, the CCS program specifically to serve those clients better and help them make those appointments, even if we have to go, drive to their house, knock on their door, and that's all would be billable services for those clients. So we did talk to both the executive committee and the personnel committee, and I know there was a few questions that you had for me that you wanted answers to. One was, how stable is the funding that we're going to be using a big chunk of it to pay for it? Well, first of all, MA and Badger Care, that's been billable for a long time, so we still have that ability for those folks. However, with CCS, we can charge at a higher rate, and we can provide more of those hands-on services. So I've talked to a number of our colleagues around the state, the consortium with the 5 counties. The thought is that it's stable for 5 years, although in state government there is no guarantees, unfortunately. It's part of the governor's biannual budget. But the thought is that it will be around for a while, so we're as sure as we can be on that. And then the second question that somebody had for me, I think it was Patrick, was how many have we served in CCS? So as Clint reported, we've served right now about 25 clients or so, and we anticipate with this new funding we'll be able to, we just did a little bit of changing of a few job duties, and we believe that we can raise that up to at least 40. So I think those were the questions you guys had for me. Yeah, please do.
Maybe Clint should be doing this, because he's the CCS. But one of the big differences about the way we're going to be able to bill is that we used to be able to bill medical assistants only for therapy sessions, like once a week or something. Where now, like Dawn said, we'll be able to bill for a lot of case management services, helping people get to appointments, mentoring services, and those kind of things, and we'll be billing at 100% of our costs, which is different. And then the other thing is, a lot of adult clients that we could be seeing will have private insurances. And 20 years ago, the county never used to bill for private insurance, but we do that now. We have people that are really good at that in the financial office, and that will make a big difference. That makes a big difference in how much money we can bring in revenue.
And just to clarify, CCS, we had CCS for quite a while, but like Clint said, we only could recoup 60% of our costs. With this new funding stream, we could do 100%. So again, worst case scenario, if that 100% funding stream did go away, we would still have 60%. It's just, wouldn't be at as high a rate as we can bill now as of September 1st.
Yeah, we'll entertain a motion. Motion by Eckstein,
I would second it.
second by Weddy. Any questions? We need to have a roll call vote on this one.
And Mrs. Collada, you are first.
Aye.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Mr. Rothermel. Oh, we'll come back to him. Mr. Kirschner,
Yes.
Mrs. Frenz.
Yes.
Mr. Heisey,
Yes.
Mr. Tim,
Yes.
Mr. Piaski,
Yes.
Mr. Eckstein,
Yes.
Mr. Weddy.
Yes.
So far, we have 9 ayes, 1 absent.
Thank you. While we're waiting for Jerry to come back, I might note that we have a celebrity in the crowd tonight, Dawn Schumann, who is the new CEO of Wild Rose Hospital. Welcome, Dawn. Congratulations. We know you'll do a great job. In the meantime, we need to set a date for the county board to do the 2015 Department of Budget hearings. So if everybody has their calendar, could you drag them out? We we thought that it would be the last week in September. We can go even to the first week in October, can't we?
The sooner the better. I mean,
Sooner the better, okay. All right. Anybody have any suggestions?
We want it evening, correct?
Evening, yes. How does the
October 2nd?
October 2nd?
That's a Thursday.
Yeah, I'm just looking to see what else is going on.
I don't think so, is it?
Well, if we have to make a lot of changes, I will be the only one in the office during that time, so if you could move it back maybe a week, I would really appreciate that.
Well, Wednesday, the 24th of September.
Depends
I've
on.
already got a meeting and I have surgery scheduled that day.
Plugging.
About the 25th.
Barrett,
Yeah, probably works in the morning.
you guys, will the 25th work for you? We're gonna meet, what, at 6:30, probably, get it started at 6:30?
Sure.
Okay, I'm gonna ask Jerry if he wants to vote on that.
Go sit down here. Jerry.
We're voting on Resolution 28-9-14, hiring additional staff to bring back adult AODA and mental health clinic. Would you like to vote aye or nay on that one?
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you very much. And now, Jerry, we're working on a date to work on the budget. We're looking for a date, and it has been suggested that we do it on the 25th of September. Are you available on the 25th?
Could be.
Everybody else available? Okay, 25th it is,
6:30 PM, right?
6:30. Okay, 6:30 on the 25th will be our budget discussion.
Yes.
Yes, we will have material ahead of time, so we can look it over and, you know. Now, are we gonna say that department heads that don't have a problem with their budget, do we still want them to, come in, or?
I guess that's up to you guys. How many people do you want involved?
If they came in at zero budget, they have to worry about getting cut? Do they have to come just to protect their budget?
That's up to you.
That's up to you
Well,
guys.
it's not up to me.
Well, I mean, up to the board.
All of
I
us,
mean, 'cause
yeah.
I mean, rough numbers, we were, 60,000 off. So,
I think everything's gotta be on the table.
everything is on the table. That's why you're meeting as a whole this time around, instead of just the executive committee.
Let's say yes, they should come if they want to protect their budget.
Yeah, if they,
Mhm. Yeah,
That meeting will be down in demo room probably then,
I believe so.
or in here?
Is it here? I thought it was.
For audio
Oh, in here.
type purposes, I think we should be in here. I mean, it'll
If
be
that's
on
what you want, I mean, I guess it's up to you guys.
We thought maybe a more casual setting would be advantageous, but we can meet here, it makes no difference.
Well, if things need to be recorded and so on, it's best here, I think, isn't it?
Well, budget hearings have never been recorded before.
Well, which is,
This is the
this
county
is a
board.
special county board meeting.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I suppose there's a way we could set it up. I know that, I'm not gonna dump that on you, cause you'll have enough stuff to do, but we could probably set up a camera down there.
what are we talking about? How many more?
I'm
I mean,
sorry.
there's room for them here.
Yeah.
For department heads?
They're
Oh,
gonna inhibit,
No.
okay.
the
Why go through all that, setting up a camera when you got this room
Yeah,
here?
exactly.
Why go through
Yeah.
all that? That's,
I think Deb's idea was that it was more casual and maybe,
The whole
The-
intent is that you guys talk. We want you to talk, you know, that's the whole idea behind this. What a smart aleck.
yeah,
Everett asked the question, how many do we have to look at? How many budgets? How many departments?
20.
Limit them to 5 or 10 minutes? Or what are we gonna do? Or we might have to bring lunch with us.
oh, Ruth was gonna bring refreshments.
I'm gonna ask to go first so I can leave.
We'll actually be doing the talking. They'll be trying to protect what they have, but it's still up to us.
all right, for now, we'll say we'll meet here at 6:30 on the 25th for our budget discussions. Are we, I think, did you want to put on the possibility of going into closed session if we,
I have to double check the statute and make sure you can,
okay,
but if you can, I will put it on there.
all right. Okay, very good.
All right, we still have ordinance 581.
Yes, we have ordinance 581.
Ordinance amending Washera County zoning maps pursuant to the authority granted.
Did we vote on, excuse me, did we vote on that last?
Yes, we
Voted,
did.
But we didn't have a result.
It was 10 ayes, 1 absent, so the motion passes for resolution 28-9-14.
Now we're going on to the zoning.
Ordinance number 581, ordinance amending Washera County zoning maps pursuant to the authority granted in Chapter 58, Washera County Code, zone change, David J. Winkle for DJW Investments LLC, Town of Springwater.
Motion by Kirschner to approve. Second by Eckstein. Is there any question or comment? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
I have one comment I'd like to make
Okay.
concerning
25th.
resolution that 280914. Supervisor Rothmo did vote on that when he came back?
Yes, he did.
I thought you said
10
absent.
ayes and 1 absent.
Bob
Mr.
is
Webb-
absent.
Bob's absent. Bob's absent.
Sorry.
You'll be all right, Dennis.
I was looking at him being,
It's been a long day.
has been a long day.
What date is the 25th, Deb?
Thursday.
There you go, Jerry, it's a Thursday.
Okay, are there any other suggestions for future agenda items? Yes.
Maybe one last presentation.
That's good.
And Mary Patoka from CAP Services would like to make a presentation concerning CAP. And so I don't know if I should email her and let her contact Melanie.
Actually, I do have her email, so I can
Oh, you do?
share that with Melanie.
That'd be great.
Okay. Any other business? We said we can't do it anyway, so let's have a motion to adjourn. Everett. Second by Larry Tim. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. You're aye. I said, is there anything else? I said, Ruth won't let us talk about it anyway.
Longest meetings we've had.
Yeah.
I just think that,
Oh, it's not me. Well, you should open your mouth.
honoring people are better if we read.
Mississippi, and they were already under the impression that it was funded out to Voltron.
We've never talked about
Yeah,
that.
I don't like to.
I don't like that either. I had it last time. I did not change them, somebody else did.
Guys had so many.
Gotta pay attention, because I was here before you were.
Tonight?
Yeah.
But, I mean,
Oh, I just.
Do it. Good job.
till I sat down and somebody
Get out there.
on top of that.
We gotta talk to the.
Are you,
I gotta get these books done to put